having the classical problem that we got at the start of the initiative. Let's continue. Amidea Ayati. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Hi, I'm Hamida Ayati. You can call me Mona because my nickname is Mona, and I'm from Iran. My degree is software engineering from Iran, and I'm here now. I'm waiting for my visa. It's in process.
Thank you so much, Amidea Ayati alias Mona. Just let you know, just because maybe you will have opportunity to move in Italy, etc. I just let you know that Mona in Italian don't have a meaning, but there is a dialect in northwest of Italy that's quite diffused in such area that is considering a person that is not so smart. So just let you know, because if you go around and say Mona, somebody smile, you should be aware, but don't worry. We will not. If we address you in this way, we'll not think about that. And in Genoa, by the way, was for around 1,000 years total enemy of this area, because this was the area of Florence. So we don't care. Okay, I'm joking.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Amit. Agnesa Ayari. Sorry for my pronunciation. It will take a while for me to learn how to pronounce your name. Anye, are you there?
Yes.
Very good.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly. Clear like a crystal in a spacecraft. Go.
Okay. I'm Hania Shahriari. My bachelor degree is information technology, and my master degree is electronic commerce. I'm from Iran.
Very good. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And then we have Kusalapa.
Hello. Good
Hello.
afternoon to all.
Good
Am I
afternoon.
audible, Professor?
Yes.
Yes. So my name is Kushalappa. You can call me Kushal if you're okay with it. And I have my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and I have completed my master's in energy engineering in the University of Genoa itself. So it's a pleasure continuing with the university for a second master's and in
Very
STRATEGOS.
good.
I hope
Can I ask you if you
everything.
do speak even some Italian word, Kushal?
Sì, come stai tutto?
Okay. No problem. Thank you very much. Then we have
Thank
somebody that so thank you. I don't know what is the name of the next, because it's registered as LKB7940. Lima Kilo Bravo 7940.
It's me, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you state your name, please?
Okay, I will try to find change my name. Just give me a moment.
No, just tell the name, please. We don't have time.
Okay, Kang for me is my name, and Lee is my surname.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming from South Korea. I don't know if anyone heard about this country. By the way, I was taking material science and engineering, and I'm currently living in Genoa now.
Good. Thank you very much. So who is
Thank
the
you.
next? Masha.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much. This is Masha, and I have studied mechanical engineering in my bachelor. Then I get MBA. As the most of my classmates, I'm from Iran. As soon as I get my visa, I will be in there.
Very good. Thank you very much, Masha.
Thank you so much.
That's the one mom. Okay, very good. Mariam Amidi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Mariam Hamidi. I'm from Iran. My bachelor is statistics and my master is socioeconomic statistics. And I'm waiting for visa and I hope I get it soon.
Okay, sorry, don't worry. So thank you very much, Mehdi.
Hello, Professor. I'm Mehdi Raoufi. I'm from Iran, Isfahan, and I'm graduated with the mechanical engineering.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mehdi.
Thank you very much.
Zanya Kumar. Mizayat? Okay, too bad. So we have Nabil Lalali. Nabil, we don't hear your voice.
Hello, Professor. My name is
Now,
Nabil
yeah.
Lalali. I'm from Algeria. My background is electrical engineering, bachelor in electrical engineering, and I'll be with you remotely for now until I get my visa.
Very good. Thank you very much. Nanik Chance. Nanik.
Hi, Professor.
Hi.
My name is Anik Lachance. I'm from Rwanda. My background is mechanical engineering, and I'm studying online meanwhile while waiting for my visa.
Very good, Nanik. Thank you so much. Nico Salimi.
Hello, Professor.
Hello.
I'm Nico Salimi from Iran. My background is industrial engineering.
Very good, very good. Oriol, I got that you get the microphone. It works already, or you're still in installation?
I'm here.
Very good.
Hello, Mr. Bruzzone. I'm Muriel. I'm from Barcelona, and I studied industrial design engineering here in my city. And I'm really interested in prototyping, especially, and also political affairs, international affairs, and all that good stuff.
Thank you very much, and bye from Barcelona. Pedram Rajablo.
Hello, Professor.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Pedram Rajablu. I have bachelor in industrial engineering. I graduated from Iran University, and I'm in Iran now. I hope I will see you after I get visa.
Sure, but don't worry, you will get here.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure. Pierluigi Paolo Martello, one that maybe I pronounce not too badly.
Yes, the pronunciation is perfect, Professor.
Yes.
Good afternoon, and my name is Pierluigi Paolo Martello. I'm from Italy. I have a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering, and right now I'm not in Genova, but I'm going to move to Genova in October.
Very good. Sayed Rayeger Nagib. It is one that I will not pronounce very well. Hello? And your voice is not coming. Can you? But I see the noise, so probably there is something because I have the noise on microphone, but not your voice. Very nice plant on your back. Try now to talk. Your voice is not arriving. Say it. I feel you have to try to disconnect and reconnect, but we will proceed. Don't worry. Okay. Stefano Castini, another Italian. So some Italian is there.
Hi, my name is Stefano Castini. I live in Italy, in Genoa, and my background is mechanical engineering.
Very good, Stefano. It's a pleasure to have you on board. Stefano Fabri.
Hi, my name is Tom Fabri, and I completed the computer engineering degree here in Genoa.
Very
So
good.
I'm already here.
So you will give some direction to people when we'll arrive, okay?
Yes, yeah.
Very good. So Vikas.
Hi, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Vikas. I'm from India. I did my bachelor's in industrial production engineering, and I worked for software field in 1 year. And I'm waiting for my visa. As soon as I get, I'll see you. I'll see you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have somebody that I missed. One is Amied Ayati. I called you, but you don't reply. Now do you hear me? Amied Ayati. Can you join? Too bad. So we have even Hussein.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
did you call my name?
Yes, now. I called
introduced myself.
already. Okay, no problem. So, and Hussein Haoun, are you there?
Yes, Professor. Hassam.
Okay, Hassam.
I'm Hassam from Lebanon. I'm studying electrical and electronics engineering.
Very good. And where are you currently, Hassam?
I'm in Lebanon.
In Lebanon. So we are all near to you for the tragedy that happened 1 month and 15 days, 16 days ago in Beirut. Okay.
Yes.
I hope you
so
and your family are safe.
Yes, we are all safe. Thank you.
Thank you, no problem. So I feel this is around. Just let me give you some direction for how we will manage. We'll need to become all a little bit more familiar with that. In Genoa University, we carried out all the lecture in this way since over 6 months. Strategos was going 100%, was already 40% available on the web last year in September before the crisis, COVID-19. Just for supporting working student, but we got in the middle of February 100% virtual with the possibility to still have some event live specifically. So you will need some time to become familiar, but you will see we can do almost everything. We carried out exercise where people was building up physical structure, working from China to India to Italy, to other countries in Europe and in Asia. So don't worry, we'll find a way to let you work in virtual lab, physical, and coordination. What I recommend, we will create maybe a WhatsApp group in order to be synchronized with that, and we will have all the web information that should be kept clean. Probably most of you are in the WhatsApp. If there is somebody that is missed our WhatsApp group, please consider to join. I put here the link, or somebody maybe could put the link for me because I'm lit behind the schedule with the WhatsApp information on Strategos 2020. Maybe Hussein, can you put the link over here? I feel it's yours. Yes, I called just to ask you. Any case, if somebody have to say something, can write in the chat, but you can even raise your hand. If you see near to the microphone, there is a possibility near to the showing the people, and even writing on the chat, you can raise your hand. And if you raise your hand in the list of people at the beginning, you see the hand raised. And if you repush, it just disappears. Brilliant, thank you very much for posting. I feel this is the WhatsApp chat. So if you like to put the information, you put. Hussein, would like to say something?
Yes.
Go.
I will put here the WhatsApp group link. Okay. If someone didn't join yet.
Thank you. So anybody that is missing the WhatsApp group, please join. By the way, I post one note. If you write an email address here without specify HTTP or HTTPS, it takes as default HTTPS. So it means that if it's not protected, it will result an error. So in case try to write yourself without the S, but for instance, this address I write down in full, but in case this is about complex system, where there is most of the information about the course that I will invite you to accept. Problem. Okay, now I put over here. Here you will find information of this course. Okay, I will now go. Yes, there is a Hussein. Do you want to say something more? It's okay. Hussein? Too bad. Okay, so we can proceed. I will give you a flavor of what is STRATEGOS. Pay attention because next Thursday, no, sorry, next Friday, the 25th, between, let me check it because I want to give you right information. If you take a look on the webinars that you get by if you check is that I post in the chat, we provide you the next schedule of the case. STRATEGOS, I don't know if I wrote correctly. It seems that it was not taken correctly, but okay, one moment. If you go to this link, you will find all the information about the next webinars. You are invited to participate. You should participate. In particular, we will have a welcome about the event of the new class of STRATEGOS and the old one that will be on the 25th of September. That will be all virtual. And on the 6th of October, we'll have even a live part. That will be a blended ice-breaking meeting we'll do in Genoa. Please check if you are in Genoa and you have a possibility to participate. Someone already confirmed. Please let do because we'll have a problem with space. We are currently using just 20% of the space of our classroom. I take a classroom for over 100 people. That means that we can accommodate around 20-25. And it will include company, etc. But if company come, I will encourage you to organize maybe outdoor if we are lucky in terms of weather conditions. Please take a view even of all the regulation about COVID that could be available on the web, and you can find information even in the website. No. That I post where there is an icon against the COVID-free. If you push, you will get information to accessing to the labs, to the class, etc., with the links to the different regulations that are around. COVID, as you know, crisis is still going. There are reasons to have a not very optimistic idea what will happen. So please be currently in Italy, we are between 10 to 20 casualty per day. That means we have 20 people, 10-20 people that die each day. These correspond, these are official data. They are very imprecise, as you know. But let's assume this figure is almost realistic. Could be 5 times more based on some other statistic. Doesn't change too much. If it's, for instance, 10 days like yesterday, that means we have around twice the casualty that we have per year by driving cars. Okay, So what means? It means that we are not scared to drive a car. So we should not be scared by COVID, but it means that we should take care as when we drive a car. When we drive a car, we want that the road have a sign, that have a line on the ground to give us distinction from left and right side. We like to have a signal. We like to have people that drive that are trained to drive. We want to have cars that are safe, that good condition, good brakes, additional safety issue, the front safety belt, up to the any kind of protections additional. We want to go and to have a traffic control. We want to check that people respect the law. So that means that as driving a car, you should do with COVID. Apply all with rationality, be consistent, adopt behavior that are sustainable, adopt behavior that are conservative, and this until we don't find an effective drug or an effective vaccine. That is not supposed to be an easy way, considering the characteristic of the virus. We don't know too much of this virus up to now. Be conservative, but don't be scared. You have to get a rational reaction and not an emotional reaction, okay? So we are working this way. If we will solve the problem of communication and the COVID will regress to a much less dangerous form, we'll go live. But even if we go live, we'll keep the web support as we was doing even before COVID, but with much more extension to be sure that people that have impediment to join us because they are still in quarantine in their country or they have other problems will be free to continue to access. So don't worry. If you have any issue, write me. Consider that I'm quite busy usually. So if it takes some time, etc., please remind me. One important thing that I say one to all, still on the logistics aspect, is when you write me a message, but it's not to me, it's for all professional message, please be sure to put an object that is understandable. So don't put in the object request. That doesn't mean nothing. Say request for visa request for Strategos, for instance, could make sense. Then state your message in a proper way. Be sure to include what you are asking, in what context, because you know, but the people that receive your message maybe don't know. And be sure to sign at the end, because it's not professional at all to receive a message that is not signed. Okay, signed means, okay. So Farshima, we miss you when I call, but then we will have other opportunity later on. Be sure to be present on the 25th, September 25th, late morning. And because we will have company there, I would like to have your class. I would like some of you interacting with other one. We will take care of that. Now, I move to the, we have even other webinar. By the way, I go quickly about the webinars that are expected for the next. First of all, this week, starting tomorrow, there is the NATO CAX Forum. That is a conference for the NATO. I feel that most of you know what is NATO, is North Atlantic Trade Organization, the strongest military organization worldwide, even because it includes the United States, UK, Italy, Germany, France, Spain, Norway, Canada, and so on. Unfortunately, this event is addressing modern simulation in defense and homeland security, so it's reserved for eyes only of people belonging to NATO country, or people that belong to Partner for Peace. That means countries such as Switzerland, such as Sweden, and so on. So if you are belonging, for instance, to India, Iran, or Algeria, etc., I feel that you are not entitled to register. Otherwise, you can go and join. So please check eventually if you like to follow some of that. I know it's overlapping with your lecture, so don't worry too much, but it's an event that I show up any case. Vice versa, the Discovery Workshop is going on 25th of September, so be sure to be there. I know you have lecture. It is in Friday and in Tuesday, we try to keep for webinar and workshop, so it should be free for that. Sometimes I know that with the time zone could be not easy for everybody to join, but we are working on this planet and we have to learn how to work all around the clock by this approach. This is something that we are doing since several years before the COVID, just because it was a necessity. Because if I have an office in Amsterdam, one in Monte Carlo, one in Genoa, one in Singapore, one in Manila, Metro Manila, you will have to be able to talk, and somebody maybe in Houston, you will have always somebody that will be in the middle of the night, somebody that will be in the middle of the lunch, and so please be ready to adapt for this framework. In the 6th of October, there will be even a combustion for industrial waste to energy plant. That means that is about recycling and environmental issue. If you are interested, you are free to join. Will be run in MIPET group that you should have an access. By the way, we will take a break from this one, not the people that are strictly involved with the combustion event, but we will have from 9:30 to 11:30, even the live on Genoa with the web event connection. You can join live or you can join by the web on the G3A classroom. Planning is subjected to change in case of boundary conditions, so please check over here. Okay, and there is even the link to the precaution for MIPET, COVID. On the 12th and 19th of October, within my hour, so you will be free to access, you will have the machine learning and data analytics for asset health management. That is a pretty interesting workshop organized by a good friend of me, Daniel Biasolo, that is a scientist working at Schlumberger. Schlumberger is the biggest company worldwide in exploration for oil and gas and natural resources. They are so very strongly developed in equipment, but even in data analysis. In this case, he will present you machine learning and data analytics techniques. You will require probably 2 hours to prepare yourself with the software on your computer. And then you will have 12 days, 8-hour class to address this one. So be ready to be there and to prepare how to work on, okay? And then there is another webinar that is scheduled for 16th of October that is on interoperable mobility and simulation, HLA, DIS, MS2G, and MSIS, that I will give with a couple of colleagues originally from the defense, from Germany and from Italy and from NATO. They will give you a taste about how modern simulation can be used to support decision training, operational planning, in this framework, and how the new standard are improving. New that are not so new because it was introduced in middle of 90, so maybe before you born, and was updated in 2010, but they are still pretty age technology for many people, so it could be good. I hope that you are following me, and so now we'll turn on the connection. Remember to take the sharing of the screen. 1 second. The screen should be shared with you. I feel that most of you see. Do you see the screen? Anybody can confirm?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
So remember to check time by time Stratego schedule. That could be useful to know. I mentioned this kind of event. NATO, CAX Forum, and the HSS, as I said, is mostly for Italian. I will say respect the people around. I feel just the people of Italy and Spain. I don't know if Lebanon is joined the Mediterranean partner of NATO. I'm not sure. But I feel Iran from US partially, so I feel that could have some problem in case, but you have lectures, so it's not very important. The discovery workshop, you should be there virtually. Then Combustion Industrial Plant, if you are interested, you are welcome. Is joined with another class. Blended icebreaker meeting is running on 6th from 9:30 to 11. If somebody join live and not by web, please let me know. And then the machine learning on the 12th of October and October 19. And finally, as I told you, this one. There will be many other ones that join. Last year, we had around 100 webinars. That means average 1-2 per week. Someone is just 1 hour, 2 hours. Someone is 1 day or 5 days. It depends. I know that it's a lot of work because you have a lot to study, but I strongly recommend to listen. For instance, this speech of Chamerger could be pretty important and a pretty unique opportunity for most of you to follow one of the top experts in big data analysis through machine learning, and will teach you how to do by writing code. He will give even an introduction to Python. You will get a lot of introduction to Python. Probably Python will be the most used language by you, but we are used to use all language. It is not a course of programming, but you should be able to understand. Okay, so it will be hard for some of you, but we will do because it's hard, not because it's easy. At the end, you will be a good strategic engineer, in addition to the mechanical, chemical, or management engineer or computer science that you are currently. Okay? So let me move on my presentation that is available on the site, Model and Design of Complex System. I will give you some flavor, as I told you. If you have any issue, any moment, considering that I don't see the screen right now because I see just the presentation, I kindly ask you to turn on your microphone and interrupt me, or to ask to somebody to do if your microphone is down, and pose the question. We'll be very glad to do interactively. We'll do interactively, and but obviously we have to. Our class is pretty large. Currently, we are around, I don't know, but we are 32, but we can go up to 42 and maybe even more. And then not everybody will follow all, but I strongly recommend to follow the election because it makes a big difference, okay, when you are at the exam. So this is my course, my reference. Who I am. I am Agostino Bruzzone. I had my engineering study in the Italian Navy. I was a cadet of the Italian Navy. Then I finalized my degree in mechanical engineering. My expertise are artificial intelligence, model and simulation, project management, and industrial plant and logistics. I'm full professor in Genoa University. I worked before to enter university 6 years as consultant, freelance consultant for major consultancy firm as well as for major industry. I had experience working with major companies all around the globe, from IBM, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Fiat Chrysler, Leonardo, Solvay, as well with major agencies from NATO, from the defense, the French defense, Department of Defense, the US Department of Defense, the Navy, the NASA, the European Defense Agency, United Nations. I served as visiting professor in several universities in Europe, Asia, in Singapore, and in North America, in Boston. I'm world director of the center that is distributed around the world with 34 centers from Korea to Italy, from Brazil to United States, from almost all countries in Europe, and so on. And I'm former leader of the simulation, and I was the founder of the simulation program at the NATO's Science and Technology Organization. I even have an award on that. I've been a project and program manager for major research projects all around the globe, normally around some $1 million per year. I'm director of the Master Program Industrial Plant. That is the oldest master program in Genoa University. We are completing 11th edition, going for the 12th, and I'm the council chair and president of STRATEGOS, and president of several organizations as a simulation team, etc., and major of different conferences. My team in Genoa, you can see some picture, is working inside the university as well as in spin-off companies. So this gives you a flavor of what I am. We start to talk about strategy because I feel it's very important to know what it means. You know, the STRATEGOS Master Science is at second year. We started to work on it 3 years and a half ago. It was an initiative started originally in MIT, Cambridge, but not the Cambridge that is in UK, but the Cambridge that is other side of Charles River in Massachusetts, other side of Boston. Okay, we have a little different maybe focus or respect what I was doing in MIT, but the concept is basically that nowadays technology can help us to do quantitative analysis to support strategy. And if we look around from COVID to everything, we realize that on this planet, strategy are almost neglected or very badly managed. Okay, and I don't judge based on political or national point of view, but I judge based on fact. Okay, so if we look around, in most of the case, it could be done much better than we have done. COVID is a splendid example because everybody have seen what happened in the country was it before, and almost everybody has reacted in very improper way, respect what they can do. By the way, I'm acting as a member of the NATO group on COVID-19 and in different projects around the globe, where I was in touch with people in Singapore, in China, in Canada, with people in Germany and Poland and so on, in France, and like in the United States. And I can say that we had the plan, for instance, we had the plan in all Western countries for addressing a biological crisis because of potential risk of a biological warfare since the 50s. Along the last 20 years, so since the SARS, I was in Canada, in Montreal and Toronto when SARS was popping up in 2003 in Canada, and the Western country was very scared about that. I was there with modeling expert for all around the world. I was chairing a major activity. And I was in Sydney when H1N1 was very scaring all the Western country, at least the people that care about this risk in Australia, because there was a cruise ship similar to what happened in COVID in Japan. We was lucky in both cases, the problem was contained. But we have two major pandemic, we have some major biological risk along the last 20 years that someone count as one additional pandemic, someone count two, somebody even three. But in any case, if we keep in medium, as Latin say, in medius virtus, we say that we had, this COVID is the third crisis we have in 20 years. The plan for biological warfare was updated by each country. Was obviously no plan can stop a pestilence, no plan can stop a pandemic, but you can react well. I can say you that this plan was not put in place properly. Why? For many reasons. And obviously, this doesn't mean we was able to stop, but probably we was able to save several dozen of thousands of human life. And this is something that we should do, because as strategic engineer, we have a commitment with our people, with our countries, with our brother and sister all around the world. We should be ethical. Yeah, you know, I was in the Navy. I was trained to operate to sunk enemy ship, but in the Navy, we are used after to sunk a ship to recover the people that survive. And you as a strategic engineer, I expect nothing less than that. Maybe sometimes we are friends, sometimes we can be fool, but you should be always fair and professional in what you do. And your ethics should keep strong. We'll have even events soon in ethics because we pretend that you, during the class, adopt a top level of ethical approach. So I don't like people that cheat. I don't like the people that don't say the truth. If there is a problem, I prefer a man or a woman, up case, that could face their errors and be responsible for what you do. You have been selected. You should learn to operate in this way if you want to succeed in completing your class. Let me go through the century to mention some quote about strategy, and that is related to strategy. We start with Sun Tzu. Maybe some of you knows Sun Tzu. Anybody know Sun Tzu? Would you like to raise your hand if you know Sun Tzu? I know Sun Tzu. Minestrini, Giorgio, welcome.
Welcome, Professor Bruzzone. Certainly, I know Sun Tzu.
Okay, so Va bene, at least 2 persons know Sun Tzu. If you have opportunity, read the book of Sun Tzu. We can get the schedule for this webinar, all right? And so we can click on the website to know how to join and link. You are supposed to be already accepted by MIPET. Okay, sorry. Sun Tzu was is considered the major expert of strategy, was very smart person around 2,500 years ago. And Sun Tzu was a Chinese general. It was used to say that the strategos is a term that was used on all Greece, ancient Greece, to define the chief of the military force. It could be an admiral of the fleet or a general of the army. Oi strategoi, there was the strategos, the leader of the military force on a Greek city-state. That could be Athens, Sparta, and Argo, and the other major Thebe, the major city that was leading most of the civilization around 2,500 years ago. Okay. Sun Tzu was used to say, other side of the planet, that the strategos, the general that lead an army, he does many calculations in his temple before the battle is fought. The general lose the battle, make few calculations. Now, it means because Sun Tzu is used to say that you win the battle before to fight. Because if you are a good general, you know where you have to fight, you know when you have to avoid the contact. You know to, we talk about example for military, but keep in mind the stratego is 90% business, 90% industry. We'll have people of a sector like defense, etc., but don't expect too many in terms of application. These techniques can be applied in competition between companies, in organization, reorganization of an industry, in new market development. So we use some military sentence, but don't consider it's just for military. And obviously, the general that is good is a general that is known in advance if you have the force to win the battle, if you have the logistic support to continue the campaign and so on. And you need to do calculation to do that. It's not just your feeling. It's not just looking at the flight of the bird on the sky. You have to make your calculation. At this time, this calculation was done by an abacus. You know, Chinese have such abacus that was able some kind of primitive computer. But nowadays, these calculations are the models, the system that you are expected to construct. I don't expect you will become strategos on short time. You will not become a decision maker if you don't have a family that have big wealth, or if you don't have, if you're not a genius. Julio Cesar at 26 years was leading a fleet against a pirate and destroyed the pirate, even if he was not a sailor. Okay, but not too many Julio Cesar are around the globe. Okay, maybe just one along the last 2,050 years. So, but I expect you become an engineer that will support the decision maker taking right strategy by developing new solution, by helping them in using, by identify how to create the model, how to design the architecture, how to proceed. Okay. So Sun Tzu said, you have to make calculation before to take strategic decision. And obviously, 2,500 years ago, we have to do, even now, and sometimes we don't. And this is stupid, okay? And you will lose. I mean, if you are alone, you will do bad things for your people. But if you are in competition with another company, with another person, with another organization, you will lose. If they do and you do not. Now, let's see if we can move on the next transparency. Some problem, but problem are there. Aha! So let me try again, because it seems we have some problem. Do you see again the presentation?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So another quote that I will use is that one of Socrates. Socrates is almost the same period of Sun Tzu, maybe even older. We don't know. Sun Tzu is not very precise, the dating, but for Socrates, we can say, we talk about 400 to 23 before Christ. Is mentioned by Plato dialogue in Laches. Laches deal with strategy and with military operation. It was said that the strategos is somebody that have an art to know better what is happening and what is likely to happen. Now, be aware that this is exactly the topic that I expect from you. I expect that you provide the capacity to decision maker to know a little bit better than other one about what has happened, what happened in the past, what is ongoing now, and especially what will happen based on the different alternative decision that I have to do. If we deal with the future, keep in mind, crystal ball don't exist. So we cannot predict something, okay? So there are things that we can predict, no? For instance, we do a lot of simulation about human behavior, about, for instance, problem in a town, national disorder in a region. Now, I can identify there is a risky condition, but I cannot predict that tomorrow at 13:10 p.m. local time, there will be a riot. Why? Because the riot will be a result maybe of something stupid. Maybe a stupid soldier will hit a woman with a child, and all the population will get in riot and revolution. Genoa, for instance, along the century, Genoa Republic was a major power worldwide for trade and for controlling the sea. Genoa Republic once was in the region was occupied by enemy forces. Was one of the few times it happened, I feel, after the Republic fall. Any case, during this occupation, there was people from Austria, Austro-Hungarian Empire. They was forcing people to move cannons on the towers, etc., to be able, and on the top of the town to shoot eventually enemy force. They was taking citizens of Genoa, they was whipping them to bring out, okay? And obviously, if you are there and you are scared about your wife, your girl, your children, and there is these people with guns, maybe you will do. But one moment, the population was very strong and have a very strong commitment. There was just one child, a poor child, that was of the lowest caste, if you want to use this verb, that was taking a stone and throwing this stone to the soldier of Austro-Hungarian Empire, one of the stronger army all over the East. And he throws this stone, say, "Who will follow me?" And all the town revolt, and they kick out the enemy army. I cannot predict that, because it's a sum of so many aspects that I cannot predict. But I can tell you, this army in this town, considering the status of population, their sufferance, their history, their behavior, their sign, the symptom that I measure on the field by looking around or by checking on social media nowadays, I can tell you the risk is high, the risk is low. Don't do that. Don't try to avoid to do that because you are at risk. And this gives a small advantage, but could make the difference if you are penetrating a new market, if you are addressing a new problem. Okay, so this is very important. Another one, Appius Claudius. He was a Roman, very famous, because he solved some of the major problems in Rome during crisis for food and crisis for army. And he was to say that the strategos is artifacts of his own fortune. Quisque faber sue fortune. Anyone construct his own fate, okay? So please keep in mind, because as supporting decision maker, you should be aware that your decision are that one that will lead you. Luck is important. Napoleon was used to say that he want to have lucky generals. But lucky is even in your decision. In Italy, we have a sentence that say, if you want to get support from the God, you have to support yourself. And you have to act in this way. So keep in mind always that decisions are crucial and you have to think about. Another one is Julio Cesar, we just mentioned. And this is very interesting because he said, "Anc not reprimere, sed augere strategi debent." In reality, is imperator debent, but it's the same. That means that if you are a leader, if you are a strategos, you don't have to repress people. You have to motivate and strengthen them. And you have to keep in mind that, because even if you will work with top decision maker, you will have other people all around you that could contribute to get a better understanding, to get better suggestion what to do. And if they want, and they are strengthened to make a decision, even child in a street could defeat an army, okay? Other one, Publius Vergilius Maro is the author of Aeneid. We mentioned because we decided to use this as our motto, and is in Aeneid, and he said, "Fata canit." So you should be somebody like the Sibyl. The Sibyl was that one, a Pythoness, we say today. Sounds a woman gifted by gods, a maid that was living near Naples, in Cuma, and in south of Italy. And she was seeing the future and was even able to talk with people that was passing away, based on the mythology, Greek and Latin mythology. And she was used to sing, see and sing the future. So as I told you, you will not have a crystal ball. So maybe you will be not able to get a clear picture, but you, with your tool and methodology based on quantitative analysis, and techniques, innovative techniques combined all together, you should be able to provide some kind of the understanding better what will happen based on decision that we'll take. I will go forward with Guillermo di Embriaghi. Caput Male was called. He was a person from Genoa, by the way. Is maybe not well known as previous one. However, I'm apologize if I could be not very politically correct, but in Genoa University, at least I'm not politically correct at all. But so this could be not politically correct respect our friends that are part of Islam. But Guillermo de Embriaghi participated to the first crusade. That was not an invasion, but initiative, at least from our country, to return to have the control of Jerusalem that was controlled for a century before. In any case, despite this detail, he was on this force, two force facing. He was taking the ship that used to sail to Jerusalem, and he transformed the ship in towers for siege. So these ships was turning in war machine. They destroyed the wall of Jerusalem, and they allowed to capture the town of Jerusalem during the first crusade. That, by the way, just to compensate with our Muslim friends, was only crusade that we won because we lose almost all the other ones. Any case, joke apart, he was using something intelligent. We need the most talented, ingenious people that should be able to create a new machine. For us, will be more algorithm, more solution than machine. And we should use a huge capacity of people to follow the direction to get this new system working. By the way, if you will have opportunity to come in Genoa, you will see Genoa, when it was a republic, forced all the rich people in Genoa to cut their towers. The tower on the town was all reduced because they say that you should be not, you don't have to show you're wealthy, you have to be modest, because to be modest is a gift, it is a value. There is only one tower in the town that was not cut. It was the tower of Embriaghi family, for respect of Guillermo of Embriaghi, that was creating this huge success in 1099 Anno Domini. Okay, and is even mentioned by Torquato Tasso, one major poet of Middle Age. Then I mentioned obviously Christophorus Columbus is another one. When we talk about strategy, we see the strategy means to achieve a goal, okay? And you should be able not only to achieve, but even to identify. So identify the right goal, achieve the goal, plan how to achieve, act in order to follow the plan, adapt the plan when it change, and finally get success. But you have to be smart in doing that. Christopher Columbus, that discovered America, at least from old world, because obviously the people in America was already discovered by themselves, but it was not known to European and most of the world, from China to Portugal. He was used to say that you should look at goals as tools to focus positively the energy and to be free to change and to change your priority if you are a strategos, to add new one and to discharge someone to get the full success. This is very important because sometimes people get a task, get an objective, you get blind on this objective and you don't get the whole picture. As strategos, you should be able to get the whole picture, because to support decision maker, you should understand what is their real goal and even helping them in that. Okay. Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi is the most famous samurai. We are much more near to us. Obviously, Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas in 1492. This written dates back 500 years ago. The Genoa University, by the way, was established even before in 1471. So we have more than 500 years of history behind us, and the engineering school have over 150 years of history behind. Miyamoto is more recent, 1645 in Japan, and he said that you have to get all data, because by knowing one single thing, you can derivate many other one. And nowadays, we should use all the data. We collect billions of data nowadays. I can say you that 20 years ago, I was collecting the information of a supermarket cash barrier for 1 week. There was a middle size, let's say a big supermarket, but not huge. 1 week of data, the cache barrier was 180 megabyte 20 years ago. Now probably we're talking about several gigabytes, because it's not just how much you pay, but it's what product you buy, what promotion do you use, what time you was going, all the set of information that allow me to profile you, if you look in a positive way, to provide you a better service and to identify gaps in my service to be filled up. Maybe to realize that sometime my cash barrier was saturated. I need to put more people in this moment. I needed to promote in different way the things and so on. In that way, obviously, it's invasive of your own privacy. You will play both sides. You will play in the side of security, protection of privacy, confidentiality, availability, reliability of the data, of people, of organization, and you will play the analysis of data to give support to decision. But sometimes even a small symptom is very useful, okay? And you have to, but obviously one symptom don't say it all. You have to combine, and we need intelligence, artificial intelligence to do, human intelligence, yours. We need techniques, methodology. I mentioned Raffles because we had some major initiative in Singapore. Some partner of us is in Singapore, in university and institution in Singapore. And let me say, I will call the founder of Singapore, that is Mr. Sir Raffles, was used to say, I already stated, that you should have the temper and spirit of good cause to apply an ethics structure, because you should be professional. Always in what you do. I expect you to be very, very, very professional, okay? We go to the modern fathers of strategy that deal with Clausewitz, and it's probably the most famous modern expert of strategy. And you can see what he was saying. So we have a problem. Hello? Pronto? Sono in teleconference, posso richiamare, ma non vedo il numero. Non vedo. La dovrei chiamare dopo, mi scusi. I beg your pardon. So I feel we have a problem. Do you see back the presentation?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I use a Clausewitz quote to introduce one aspect. Each time that you will follow a modern seminar about some complex system, from water problems between, in let me say, northwest of Africa, or terrorism risk, or COVID-19, or penetration of the as a retailer in Indian subcontinent, or developing or mining in South America. Each time we'll talk about that, somebody will tell you that today the problems are more complex than in the past, things are going faster, it's more difficult, etc. In part it's true, but if you take the history of all the person that I mentioned before, don't feel that was easy for Columbus to get a fleet to reach America. He had to face not just to talk casually with the Queen of Portugal. No, you don't have just, you had to face problem at the court. You have to deal with a lot of interest, etc. This is happening since thousands and thousands of years. If you read the quote of Clausewitz, that date almost 200 years ago, he say, the strategos knows that in the highest realm of strategy, so in the high level of strategy, intellectual complication and extreme diversity of factor relationship occur. This is something that could be stated by a top manager today, okay? So never underestimate what happened in the past. Never feel that you are facing the most complicated problem that you can imagine. Think always that if the systems are complex, that doesn't mean there are not easy solutions. Sometimes the easy solution is the best. Columbus was beating the top expert when he was requesting to get the ship against all the scientists of the epoch, because he proposed them, you know, the challenge of the egg. He gave, okay, you are so expert. Let's be able to keep an egg standing tall while you leave it on the table. And all the expert was studying everything while the scientist was not able to solve. At the end, he said, okay, I will show you how to go. He take the eggs, he break the eggs on the table, and he was standing, okay? So sometimes, but it's the same the Alexander Man, the Great, that was resolving the problem of Gordian knots. Nobody was able to open this knot with a very complex knot on a rope. He take out his sword and he cut it, okay? So sometimes the easy solution exists. It's rare, but they exist. But you should be the one that you identify the right solution, easy or complex. But the system that you deal often is a complex system. We'll see what is a complex system. Another important aspect, Mazzini. Mazzini was one of the patriots that allowed to create the Italian Republic. And he's born in Genoa, but is casual. He was then dying in London because he was condemned by the Royal of Italy after the unification. But it was used to say that despite the fact, elite strategos, despite occasional different approach to predict the future, strategos should be able to develop a common awareness on actual situation and critical decision. What it means? That maybe you will use, in our case, I move to the context of strategos Master of Science. Sometimes you will use machine learning, artificial neural network. Somebody other one will use HP for joint decision by eigenvalues of multiple choice provided by experts. Somebody else will do other techniques. Game theory you can apply, you can use simulation, etc. Despite the techniques that you use, you should develop a common approach. It should be not the tool that develop the solution, it's the system that have the symptom inside of what is his own nature and behavior. And you should use all the technique that you know. Often you should combine the techniques. It's very rare that you can be able to solve a problem by fuzzy logic by itself. But fuzzy logic is very powerful to solve problems in conjunction with other techniques. You should not be a priest of a single methodology. Maybe you will become more familiar with one than the other one. But this ability to know all the methodology and to connect and combine them that make the difference and transform you in getting a common picture. And you don't have to adapt the reality to your algorithm or to your model or to your methodology. You have to adapt your methodology to solve the real problem. Otherwise, you solve a problem, maybe challenging, but it's not the real problem. When you try to apply, you will have high probability to fail. About what is a strategy, I feel it's very important to mention General Jomini, Anton Jomini, that is with Clausewitz considering the most expert strategist of the recent time, even if he dates as Clausewitz about 200 years ago. Jomini was a Swiss general that served Napoleon, was not too much a general for battles, but was a theoretical person that was very bright. By the way, logistics, maybe you know logistics, no? The modern meaning of logistics has been invented by him as the way to support army, because before this term was not used, army don't have a logistic division. And the success of Napoleon, despite the final defeat, I feel is pretty significant. Jomini defined the strategy, I feel, in the best way. En français, on dit, la stratégie, c'est l'art de bien diriger. What it means? It means that the strategy is the art to properly direct. And this is fundamental, because a lot of people will talk to you about strategy, say, our strategy is to do that. Our strategy, we plan to do. Strategy is not planning. Strategy is not just looking forward. Strategy is to identify your goal, to plan how to achieve, to act to achieve, to react to what happened, and finally to achieve it. Okay? And this is a big difference. And Strategos leads on that, because you will not learn data analytics to analyze historical data. I can get wonderful data analytics of data on COVID that could predict, that could analyze the time series, so the historical data of COVID contaminations with the precision of whatever you like. I can go even to 0 without any problem on any time series from now back to the 1st of December. I have no problem. You don't need to do that. You need to create models that can tell you what happened in the past, what is going, but even what are the consequences of what decision I take today. And if I take a decision today, there is no statistical model can tell you what will happen up to the symptoms of what you have done will be up. And the symptom of any decision, for instance, in Italy, we was talking about opening, closing the school as they do in France, as maybe they do in some part of Spain, I don't know. You don't see from historical data. This doesn't work, because when you open the school or decide that you close the school because it's going to worse, somebody say, but it's not useful, you will see just after the symptom will be out. But if you close the school today, the people that are infected don't develop yet the infection, don't diffuse the contagion, we're still going for the next 2-3 weeks. We have even data, very vague, that go up to 2 months. So you will get the complete picture after 2 months, and probably you say slight sign just in 2-3 weeks. So it means I take a decision now, but I will know if it's good or bad in 3 weeks if I just look to the past. So I need to use something else. This is very great help, and we'll use it a lot, but it's not the whole picture. It's just part of the picture. It cannot keep in count what happened based on my decision. What could help? It could have to make analysis of a country that is in a situation more advanced with us, that already experienced this problem, for instance. What it could make sense is to analyze some slightly sign that could be detected as a red hot spot to identify if there is some symptom and try to correct. But we need model that forecast. Okay, and we'll do in this course. Okay, but then we can keep going very fast. That is just in some way even to rest break. Perseverance, caseless, restless perseverance, was stated by Manfred von Richthofen, that is the top fighter pilot of the First War, some kind of living legend. And it's very important. You will see when you will start to work with the algorithm, when you start to learn how to create an architecture, a model, when you start to analyze big data, or even to identify, create some simulation to forecast, you will have to face a big problem many times. Data inconsistency, misunderstanding of the situation, misunderstanding of complexity. You have to perseverate. You have to keep going. It is through the hard work that you create your own fortune. Okay. Giulio Duet I mentioned because Italy, strangely, is not a very big military power. It's one of the biggest, but not the biggest. It was Air Force, Italian Air Force was the first one to be used in military operation. And there was a general that is very strange because this person was almost arrested several times because he was not adopting what was at that time the doctrine of the army, of the Air Force. It was Air Force at the time. And is his name the school of the Italian Air Force Academy, not Academy, but War School, where there is a joint partnership with Strategos. You will have some opportunity maybe to interact with them, at least the people belonging to Italy and probably to NATO country. It was used to say the Strategos of future air wing should be genial in properly selecting target based on complex factor dealing with operation, moral, psychology. So he was putting in his mind the importance of human factor in this operation. Now, we don't care too much about psychological warfare, or let me say hybrid warfare that you will see for some application. But these techniques could be the same to penetrate a market, to develop a strategy against a competitor in industry or in business. So keep in mind that often these aspects are important as logistic, as production capability, as reliability of your own system. I mentioned then Helmut Karl Bernhard von Moltke, that was a Prussian general, 50 years after Clausewitz. He's famous in business because he was quoting the fact that no plan of operation extends behind the first day of use. Normally, when we are in business and somebody show up a plan, often somebody uses some kind of similar quote that say, okay, you have done a nice plan, but you know, nice plans are just done to be redone. In reality, this doesn't mean you don't have to do the plan. It means that the plan needed to change dynamically because the plan failed for several reasons, we see. One reason is complex system have strange behavior, no? So if I analyze a market, maybe, you know, if I was introducing a product at the beginning of 2020, in 2 months exploded the COVID-19, probably all my marketing plan failed, okay? But it's not just because there is a pandemic, it could be many other aspects. In addition, there is an aspect to don't underestimate. Often, in our decision-making, we have other players, and these other players sometimes are partners, sometimes are friends, sometimes are competitors, sometimes are foes. And the other people that observe me acting react. Don't think just to war, enemy, etc. Think just about that. Do you know that in most of the world there was a lack of cleaning device? For instance, in Italy, I don't know, in Spain, maybe you can comfort me, but in Italy there was a completely lack of alcohol. It was the same in Spain. We was not finding alcohol in supermarket, in store. Somebody experienced also in other countries. I hope you are still listening me. Are you listening?
Yes, we are listening.
Okay. So any case, there was a lack of alcohol. So what happened? If I see that the store put out the alcohol, even if it's not my enemy, if I know that you are going to buy alcohol, you are even a friend of me, maybe I will go even to buy alcohol because I'm scared to get empty storage in the next day, in the next week. And so we all create some kind of escalation in alcohol consumption And this is a reaction to my action, okay? It's not though because you're an enemy, it's though to protect my interest. I want to have alcohol in my family to clean up the things that I feel could be infected. No? So sometimes the reaction of people to our action are very important, and we have to consider. And the plan have to be redone constantly, as Mork say. And I feel the last quote that I like to mention is from Mayun, Alibaba executive that you probably heard about that resigned. And he said Alibaba is one unicorn, as he used to say. So a company that was going over $1 billion, very promising, was created by experts in China. It's similar to Amazon, a little bit smaller up to some weeks ago, but growing very fast. To give an idea, in 2019, Mr. Yoon have a personal net worth of over 42 billion US dollar. Was getting $23 billion revenues and with $6 billion profit, with an increase of 56% of net revenues and an increase of 15% in a single month. Okay, the company very dynamic. You can see behind some of the robots they use for managing the warehouse, some of the drone they use. I will say I was visiting Quanzhou, where is the headquarters of Alibaba a couple of years ago, and was talking with the responsible of, I was invited keynote speaker, as well as the director of the research and development. And he was saying, for instance, now Alibaba as Amazon main business is not only retail, is even selling cloud service they develop for themselves, selling data, etc. And he was thinking, in Quanzhou, they was organizing everything for a major meeting of G8, I feel, world most advanced country. All the town has been restored. All the cross interaction of the street traffic have camera that track each single vehicle all around the town. Pretty invasive, but China is quite normal. Okay. But this is very impressive, even during the night. Not very advanced device. They use all camera. They need to flash, using the flash to get the car ID. But they get from each single intersection. So I can tell you what road have you done. Each single value in a town that is just, I feel, probably 10 million, something like that, habitant or something like that. Any case, he will say, we will do an experiment. We will use our cloud service, our computing, to provide support to the traffic authority of Quanzhou to help them to improve. To improve in what sense? We can control light traffic. We can control many different devices that could improve how fluent, how effective is the traffic of the town. Now, okay, this is good for Quanzhou, but if it is work, can you imagine? Can you imagine to provide this service to town, not just to town with 10 million persons, but even town with 100,000 persons? I give you an example of a small town near Genoa that have 80,000 persons with traffic problems, okay? Their public transportation, that is a bus service, lose each year 36 million euro. Let me say, have cost for 36 million euro, several thousand, so more than 1,000 persons, and they get revenue for 30 million euro. So you will say, okay, 36 million negative, 30 million positive. They lose money, but it's a public transportation. We don't expect. I feel that out of Singapore, no mass transportation company is profitable. Maybe wrong, but it's very rare, no, because you provide the service. Okay, it's bad, but if you go in the data, you look a little bit inside, you realize that 30 million of revenues are composed in this way. 2 million around for parking, because the town, this town provide the management of parking to the bus transportation company to help them. They give all the space for free. They need to do just the maintenance of the machine that are all automated. and they get probably 1 million point something of parking, and they spend probably a few 100,000 of cost to make the maintenance, etc. Okay, this is a gift. That could be a gift of 1.5 million because they don't pay the rental of the parking area. They don't pay anything. No? It's some kind of gift. Okay, so the revenue, real revenue is not really related to bus activity. Let me say bus activity still have 30, maybe 35.5 million of cost, and the revenues are maybe 28.5. Okay. Okay. In reality, there are 22 million that are provided by the regional authority to the company just as free support, not as a lease or whatever, just for free. So each year they give 22 million to this company. So it means the real revenue are not 30, are not 28.5, but are 6.5. The company get revenue for 6.5 million and spend over 35 million. Now, I feel that everybody will say that it's totally crazy, no? Because each year they create a big debt. Maybe for the company it's just 6 million, but for the region is 22 million that go together with other millions with other town badly managed, and so on. No? To the town is 1 million, over 1 million lost revenues, net incomes. So what means that if you solve the problem of traffic for Piacenza, Pavia, Cairo, even Cairo in Italy, not Cairo in Egypt, you can get, if you just make a reduction of their cost of 10%, you save 3.6 million. That is not nothing. Okay, respect what they do. And you ask for 30,000 euro, 300,000 euro. So you get an advantage of saving 3 million euro for that. And you sell to 1,000 of this one. You will do $30 billion of revenues, okay, easily. And will be almost all revenue because your cost will be just based on the cloud. Yes, the cloud could cost. I don't underestimate, but there is huge potential as Alibaba. Can you imagine the potential of these techniques? And we solve a social problem because they solve the problem of traffic. Now it's solved partially by COVID, but we cannot rely on the pestilence forever to solve the problem of traffic around. So these algorithms make difference, and you have to work to make the difference. The university you are now registered, that back 1471, we have around 40,000 students. Our engineering school that back 1870. It was ranked in 2018 first school, and normally is on the podium between the first, the third, sometimes fourth, fifth. You know, depending on how you rank, who we rank, I feel we still are the first one for spin-off company. We are for maybe the first one or second for international student, etc. Any case, in Genoa, we established the first Master of Science in Strategic Engineering in Italy, one of the first worldwide. We are very glad to have you on board. And we will even organize an event to provide you some information about the university that you are attending. I will just complete this speech and then we'll take a break with some aspect. In decision theory, we deal with the dynamic world. So from Winston Churchill to Doug McMillan, the CEO of Walmart, the biggest company worldwide, I feel employing over 2 million persons nowadays. Okay, and with the revenue that overpass most of the countries of this planet, they had to take decisions that are crucial by themselves. They have to understand what is ongoing around. They have to understand their competitor. They have to understand fundamental concepts that change. Why is important strategic engineering? Because they could be very talented, very expert, but maybe they have no experience in this field. Why? Because maybe they operate in another sector, or because they operate in another country or region or continent, or more often because they operated in a different time frame. What happened in, I don't know, Walmart? You know, Walmart is the biggest retailer worldwide. how do you sell product during COVID age? It's probably different to how you sell product during the pre-COVID age. And so you have to learn. How do you learn? We learn by errors. We learn by experience. Who is a good learner? Somebody that learn fast, that avoid to make experience. Homer in Iliad, one probably the major poem never written. Homer was used to say, if you are a stupid person, you will learn from your mistakes. If you are a smart person, you will learn by listening people that are expert. Okay? And so you should do it this way. You should become the person that give direction and that create a solution, algorithm, architecture that could help to take decision without making mistake or just making minor mistake, early mistake. Don't go deeply in bad mistake. Another aspect, decision makers. Decision maker will be the people you will talk with. You will talk with decision maker over you, and you will talk with your colleagues to develop the solution, because you are not a programmer, so you can develop an algorithm to make tests, but then if it need to be implemented in a complex structure, you will have to deal with computer scientists, with informatics engineer, electronic engineer. You have to talk with, I don't know, chemical engineer about the process to produce what you produce in your company, whatever. But the decision maker have their own attitude. So you will give advice, you will counsel, you will act as consultant, but is their decision related to their attitude? Some like to take a big risk, some like to be very conservative. There is a quote here from Fleming, Goldfinger, that say, it's never too early to start winning, it's always too early to start losing. So that's very important. Our tools are just developed to allow you to start winning with your business, with the company, with the decision maker you do, as early as possible, because as early you start to win, as better is usually, and don't start to make mistake, to block immediately the mistake, okay? Another very important aspect is to identify goal and objective, okay? The capability to choosing and expressing what you needed to do is a key point that make a difference between a lion and a rat, okay? And the human that is successful and one that is not. So you should help not just to create an algorithm that allow to manage well all the research to achieve the goal, but even in identify the proper goal. Because sometimes proper goals are not so straightforward to be understood. Other aspect is that you take a decision all the day, even this evening probably you have to decide what you will eat. If you go outside, if we COVID, you stay at home. If you cook by yourself, you have to decide what I will cook. I will cook an egg, I will drink milk, I will take a steak, I will take vegetables, I will do whatever, okay, pasta. These are small decisions. You don't need a very big tool to help you to identify the right solution. But in some cases, we have, so if we need to decide to go to Wendy's or to McDonald's, there are two major food chain of young food, let me say, in North America and USA, but even in Canada, etc. It's not a big deal, okay? But you have to decide to start a nuclear war, maybe yes. And even if you are a top executive of Wendy's, probably you have to understand some decision about your market campaign against McDonald's and vice versa. The picture on the center is Mr. Kasparov, that was a Russian chess champion. And it's interesting I mentioned because probably for you was not, you was a child at that time. But for people like my generation, one of the biggest achievement or expectation for expert of artificial intelligence like me was the capability to be able to beat a human at chess, okay? So there was a huge effort in this direction. And IBM was taking it very seriously, and he created IBM Deep Blue, a computer that you see at your right. That was a computer able to go through chess move. Chess is a strange game. If we look, it's It's very strategic, and we use a chessboard, part of a chessboard, for our logos. But respect our problem, normally we don't have uncertainty. We see everything. We see all our piece, all enemy piece, opponent piece, antagonist piece, as you like to call. But it's very hard to predict what will happen. Why? Because there are so many moves that the combination are explosive, huge explosive. IBM Deep Blue was addressing this, let me say, mostly by brute force. Kasparov was defeating the most powerful computer, supercomputer, was created by the most powerful company in computer sector. 4 years, and even in 96, he was beating Deep Blue, 2 victory, playing with white, 1 defeat with the black, and 3 pairs, 3 draws, okay? So finally got the victory. The year after, the same Deep Blue play again. He was defeated 2 times with black. I don't know if you know, but in chess, if you play with black, you are expected to have some handicaps, some disadvantage. He was winning 1 by white, and he got 3 draws. So the situation was exactly capsized, but the person who was playing with the white more was winning more, okay? And winning the final game. Now, if you buy a professional game, a professional game could cost a few dozen of US dollar of euros, you have more power than Deep Blues, okay? Nowadays, after 23 years. And I will say something more. Nowadays, we think that the computer are not the strongest than human to play. And the humans, we don't think they are strongest than computer, because now it's very hard to beat a strong chess playing machine. We now know that the strongest player of chess is a human using a chess engine as supporter. This is exactly what we expect by Strategos. You should develop algorithms that give to talented decision maker the strategic advantage. Okay. Other aspect. What is an accurate way to analyze a problem? What is a good decision maker? No? Here you have 2 examples. For instance, on your left, you will have a workshop on that. There is a prisoner dilemma. I don't know how many of you know prisoner dilemma. Prisoner dilemma is a dilemma that was invented for game theory that say, let's assume we have 2 persons, 2 prisoners. Okay. If one prisoner is a traitor and confess all the crimes, he get a penalty reduction, and the other one will get an EV punition. If vice versa, the other will betray this one, they will be opposite. Okay? But if nobody betray the other one, the punition will be maybe lower for both. But if everybody betray the other one, the punition will be worse for everybody. So what is the right strategy? Because I don't know in advance, because the other prisoner is another cell. I don't know what he will say. So what is the winning strategy? I have to betray or not? There are methodologies to face that, depending on the payment metrics. Like in this case, is a case where you have Coca-Cola and Pepsi on the same market. Let's say in Australia. And say, if I do campaign and Pepsi do campaign, each one sells 2.5 million can per day, okay? If Coca don't make campaign, a Pepsi do campaign, Pepsi will say 4 million and Coke just 2. But if Pepsi will not do campaign, they will sell 2, but Coke will sell 4. But if nobody will do campaign, they will get 3 and 3 both, okay? So what is the winning strategy? In this way is not doing campaign both, but this is based on hypothesis they can coordinate. If they cannot, what is the winning strategy? At the center, you have another approach, is a decision tree. It's a geopolitical in this case. We have a tension, hypothetical tension in Azerbaijan. We make hypothesis Russia could act or not. If he act, there are 2 possibilities. Can go military or can avoid military. If they do military, if they avoid military, it finish with some result. If they do military, Armenia maybe could attack the pipeline or not attack the pipeline. And if attack the pipeline, what they will do, US? USA will defend the pipeline or will not care of pipeline? And if it will defend the pipeline, what will do Russia? Will support Armenia or will not support? This decision tree is an explosion of alternative. For each of the final ball, you can put a value in terms of result. That could be casualty, could be $1 million, that could be other, let's say, final state condition. In the ball, you can put a probability, and you can analyze this tree to identify the most profitable. And it told you're right, you have Jeff Bezos. When he started Amazon, I was among the first customer of Amazon. At that time, was used just for the books. Internationally, was buying books. Was an excellent quality of service as nowadays, but was losing million and million and million and million of US dollar. Bezos was among the 500 more rich person on the planet, but Amazon was completely a mess in terms of a business result. But it was standing. It was standing for years. It takes, I don't know exactly, but you can check on saying Google, around 8-10 years, maybe 6-10 years, to get to pay and then to get profitable. But this was his view, okay? So we needed to identify the proper methodology to identify the right solution, okay? And we will go forward after a break. Now, if you have any question, nobody stopped me. I know this is the first lecture, but please feel free to stop me. Now I get totally lost the control of my system. I don't know if you are still there. Hopefully you are still there. Yes, good. Okay, there is any question up to now? Anybody have a question? We still 31, so probably, yes, maybe.
Yes, Professor, I have a question.
Go.
During the conversation, you're talking about the luck, but you know, I cannot understand. Really, we have to consider the luck among our calculation or not. You know, do we have anything named luck in the strategy or not?
That's a good point. Very good point. Believe me or not, I feel more than 10 years ago, more than 20 years ago, Harvard was carrying out a research on that with very interesting results. They was willing to identify and to measure if luck is an important factor, okay? And they do this experiment. There is a world famous competition among violin players, but maybe a mistake, it was piano. Probably you can easily find it in Google. And they was analyzing dozens and dozens of years of the people, try to correlate the different parameters. Parameter was the age, the sex, or gender, if you prefer, the background, where he studied, what year he started to learn, what was the preliminary curricula of these people, was playing just in his country, outside, how many public demonstrations. So hundred and hundred of parameters. I see you, I will. And then it resulted that the most important factor was the order of the sequence of players. So it means when you participate on this competition, there is some kind of rolling a dice to define who is the first to play, the second, the third, all the sequence. That is random, okay? And the last one to play was the sequence to be on the end of the queue was always in favor to get the best result, okay? I feel that it was the last, maybe it was the first, now I can mistake. So there are ways to measure the luck, okay? In most of our case, I don't know if you have to consider the luck. I consider most of the case, as I was quoting the Latin, that you should be your own luck. But there are random factors, for sure. We have in our model, we use always stochastic element that in some way influence the factor that are made in order to collect the luck. So we don't use rabbit legs or corns or red pepper or whatever you believe as a good luck or low luck. But we should consider the stochastic factor. So I will say luck could be measured, was measured, is an important factor. Stochastic factors are fundamental, no? Because I tell you an example. Years ago, I was participating in reorganizing traffic in a town. I was just an external consultant, was not the main expert. No, I mean, maybe I was a top expert, but I was not that one that was carrying out the consultancy contract. It was involved because the customer was requesting me to make a comment. They developed a solution based on using special lane for public transportation. So they see in the town, there are 3 lanes, for instance, 3 lanes for each direction in this area. We create 1 lane just for public transportation, that means cab or taxi and buses or ambulance or police, etc. And the other 2 are for private commercial vehicles. And there was the creating model was working perfectly, no? And but in reality was not working too much. And I would say, yes, it's obvious that doesn't work, because in your model you say that when you assign a lane just to public transportation, just the public transportation use it. But in reality, this is not true. There are always private vehicles. At that time, at least, it was beginning of 90. There was not so many cameras that could detect you if you invade, let me say, a restricted lane and send you a ticket. So the people was invading, and if you invade, that could be worse, because what happened? It happened that most of the cars just stay on 2 lanes. The other lane are blocked jointly by the bad driver and the public transportation. If they jam, you don't have even the release to overpass the bus, because if you respect the law, after the bus, you skip on the 2 lanes. So they create a bottleneck that cannot be solved as easy if they are not. So why? What was the error? The error was that the model was considering everybody was respecting the rule, but it's completely wrong. We cannot accuse people that don't respect the rule. If we know that people don't respect the rule, we need to include in the model even this aspect. Thank you very much for the question. There was another question, I feel. There is another question. Ahmed.
Excuse me, sir. Do you offer game theory for us?
Do you, if I offer grants?
Game theory.
Game theory, yes. There is a specific workshop that it's not yet planned, but will be, let me say, from October to June. I don't know when, but you will know. Last one was going in February. And you will have a lecture from our professor of game theory that just retired last year, but still offer for free these how do you call, webinars, up to now are webinar. By the way, you will have even available, even now, on the Strategos channel, but I don't know where it is, but I send you in WhatsApp, Strategos channel, YouTube. Do you subscribe? Do you subscribe at Strategos channel? No, it's not this one. I'm going to post. No. Yes. I post in the chat so you can follow even some lecture if you like on game theory, but they will be delivered even live. They are supposed to be here, but obviously are not here. I don't know why. They should be here. Maybe she removed it, she want to redo, okay? But in any case, any case, please subscribe this YouTube channel, and please be sure to attend to game theory workshop that I feel it's very important. Probably it will be 3-4 lectures where you will be introduced to this theory, and then you can even carry it out specific work on this area. Any other question?
Thank you, sir.
Don't mention. You're welcome. Okay, so gentlemen, I suggest we take a break from now to 16:30. So I will keep the channel open if you want to talk each other. I talk with the mute, sorry. I said, please check, in addition to subscribe on the YouTube channel, please check if you are on the list that is on the that I just posted. Check your name, spelling, data, and please provide me your CV in Strategos format. Strategos format CV, okay? That you can find. I load even this one if I can. Okay, perfect. Now we take a break up to 16:00. No, 16, let's say 16:40, okay? 16:40, our local time. That means Greenwich Meridian time +2, GMT +2, B zone. Central European Standard Time.